in so many ways, this is like teaching my very first class again, right? I've had this long opportunity to pause in between what I've been doing and what I'm doing at this very moment. And that is such a rare space, right? To have so much room to experiment, so much room to pause and reflect on what's really important to me to communicate and what values are most important to me with what this is. Um, and I think we can look at that just as an analogy to where we all are in this moment, which is this kind of big collective pause that we're all having, right? And we can spend our time in ways that sort of promote the perpetual sense of busyness that we generally have, right? This need to do stuff or be productive or whatever it might be. Or we can spend it learning to slow down and learning to be with each moment just as it is. And I'm sure over the past couple of weeks, as all of this has been happening at various different levels, like wherever you are in the country, um, that opportunity has arisen for you, and you've probably bumped up against it many different times and in many different ways. And so today we're going to focus on taking the time to pause and give ourselves the opportunity to feel within that space, right? So if it brings up something uncomfortable for you, which it often does, right? Being still can be really uncomfortable physically, mentally, emotionally. That's okay. And if it feels really good, then let it feel really good too. So this is a wonderful place to be. It's a difficult circumstance to be in, but the outcome of it can be really beneficial to us. So we're going to keep it beneficial. All right. So if you have a something nearby, like a blanket or a towel, just undo it onto your mat so that it makes your mat less sticky. If you don't have that, that's okay, and you can even be on the hardwood floor um, or on your carpet, just off to the side. But you'll just lengthen it out and then come onto your back. And you don't need to fix anything here on your back. Just allow yourself to drop in exactly as you are, exactly where you are. And you might take a deep breath or two in and just completely let go. And allow your breath to be totally natural. So letting go of any sense of ujjayi breath, which for those of you who practice ujjayi breath really regularly, you might notice yourself slipping into it pretty easily, but just let your breath be natural. So relax any restriction through the throat. And then feel the points of contact on the ground. Shoulders, the back of the head, the back of the arms, the pelvis, and the backs of the legs and the heels. Totally letting yourself empty. And one at a time, go ahead, bend your knees, bring each foot to the floor. And just really letting yourself be very soft, very still. You can keep your eyes closed the whole time. And I really don't want you to work very hard. So stay really, really soft. But on your in breath, go ahead and rock your pelvis forward, lift the navel towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, go ahead, smush your low back into the floor gently, draw the navel in. And just going back and forth like that. So inhaling and feeling the tilt of the pelvis, feeling the low back curve increase. And exhaling as you decrease the low back curve and draw the navel in. So you're letting the head rock as well, just letting the shoulders move with you, as soft and as easy as you can be. You might feel little pops or little adhesions releasing. You might feel a little stretch. It's all good. And then let's involve the feet just a little bit as well. So still staying really soft, just keep with this movement. But next time that your belly draws in, your tail lengthens towards your heels, go ahead and press into the balls of your feet. Lighten your heels a little bit. Good. And then on your in-breath, go ahead and lift the belly, increase that spinal curve, and press into the heels of the feet. So now you're starting to feel the arches of the feet rebound a little bit. Just be involved in this movement. Next time you come back through the center, just a neutral spine, pause. And again, let yourself empty, let yourself be here just in stillness. We'll go ahead and interlace our hands behind the head. Nice. And this is still just building onto that initial movement of spinal undulation, right? So as you inhale, again, lift the navel towards the ceiling, increase that spinal curve, feel the neck start to lengthen. And then as you exhale, draw your elbows close together and pull your elbows towards the thighs just a little bit. So it's not really a crunch. Inhale as you come back down. Nice. And then exhale, just letting the spine round, naturally curling up. So instead of this being a core centric exercise, right? Think of this as a way to stretch the back of the neck, the upper back. Just on your rhythm. This doesn't have to be fast or slow. You're just moving as naturally as you can. Can you get in the feet as well? So as the head goes down, press into the balls of the feet. And as you exhale and pull up, press into the heels. And next time you're down, stay down. Relax your arms by your sides. Go ahead and lengthen your legs out long and just pause again in Shavasana. Feeling the pause, feeling the space. Nothing needs to change in the upper body, but go ahead and bring your feet just so they're about hip distance apart. Toes are pointed up to the ceiling. All right, so you might need to narrow your stance. We tend to take the legs out a little bit in Shavasana. Okay. And in doing that, you'll feel the thighs start to turn on a little bit. That's great. You'll feel the arches of the feet start to work as you press your heels towards the wall or whatever's in front of you. And then imagine that your left leg could grow longer. So press the left foot away from the center of the body as much as you can. And then just exhale as you release. Nice. And on your next in breath, press your right foot away from you as far as you can. And exhale, release. Nice. Just staying with that, inhaling, pressing one foot away. And exhaling to release. And inhaling, pressing the other foot away. Exhaling as you release. Good. And just moving again with your breath. Let this be your vinyasa, your movement, synchronized with breath. So in doing this, we're loosening all of the connective tissue that tends to get a little stuck. You might feel it in the sides of the waist or the low back. You might feel it down through your sacrum, which is the back of your pelvis. You might even start to feel some of this movement, some of those, as those adhesions start to drop away or loosen up, you might start to feel this in the shoulders or the neck as well. Just one or two more on each side. Pausing, let yourself be still, let yourself be stopped, feet fall out to the sides, arms totally release, letting go of any tension through the jaw. And staying as you are, still on your back, go ahead and bend your elbows. Bring your arms into like cactus arms or goalpost arms. And your elbows can be wherever they're comfortable. So if it's too much to have them straight out from the shoulder, bring those elbows a little closer to your waist. Let it be comfortable for your shoulders, okay? Right. And again, we'll reach through the left heel, just like we did. So flex that foot, reach through the heel. And this time, reach your left arm long, alongside your ear. Go ahead and arch into that left side of your waist. Get really long through the left. And then exhale, come all the way back through center. Nice. And again, inhale, lengthen through the right leg, lengthen through the right arm. And exhale, back through the center. Nice. And you can luxuriate anywhere you want to, right? So inhaling as you reach long, and then exhaling to let go. And again, inhale as you reach, right arm, right leg reaching away from each other, really starting to lengthen the right side body. And exhale as you release. And just one or two more on each side. Take your time. Opening up things that might be a little stuck, a little stiff. And just pausing, let your arms fall down by your sides. Let the feet turn out, soften the legs, soften the pelvis, soften the hips. And after another 5 seconds or so of pausing, letting this integrate into the body, bend your knees, feet to the floor. Very nice. And cross your right leg over your left. Go ahead and reach your arms out to the side. Good. And with that right leg, we'll just pull the left knee over to the right, arch into the back. Good. Reach the left arm. Take an in-breath here. And then exhale, legs back to the center, all the way back to the middle. Good. Pause and take an in-breath. Let that settle. And again, we'll inhale, drop the knees to the right, arch into the back, reach through the left arm in the opposite direction, and all the way back through the center. Good. Pause, let that settle. And just one more inhale, Draw the knees over to the right, arch into the back. So you're wringing the organs. You're starting to work into the spine. And exhale all the way back. Nice. Unwind your legs. Good. Cross the opposite way. So left knee on top of the right. And we'll drop knees over to the left. Good. Arch into the low back. Reach through your right arm. Take an in-breath. Fill up the right lung especially. And then exhale all the way back through center. Good. Knees drop to the left. Reach the right arm to the right. Arch into the back. And back through the center. Good. So it's really slow, really easy rocking movements. Inhale. Dropping knees to the left. And exhale back to center. Okay, go ahead and unwind the legs. Stretch the feet long, arms by your sides, and just pausing. I've been finding it so beneficial to allow the body to open really gently, really smoothly, and then starting to add elements of strength and more dynamic movement. All right, so speaking of a little bit of strength, go ahead and bend your knees. Go ahead and just bring your knees right above the hips with your shins parallel to the floor. A lot of you guys have done this. If you haven't, it's the simplest thing in the world. Go ahead and bring your hands to the tops of the thighs. Good, and you'll pull your knees towards your hands. Pull them towards your chest, and then resist that by pressing away with your hands. Nice, feel the front ribs start to pull in, the front wall of the abdomen start to draw down. And at the same time, you're also feeling transverse abdominis, so all of these muscles through the core that corset the body. Okay. And then go ahead and release, feet to the floor. Relax your arms. We'll just do that one more time. So knees above the hips, shins parallel to the floor. Go ahead and flex your feet. Good. So keep the arches active as you press through the heels, press through the balls of the feet. Hug your knees towards your chest, press your hands into your knees, and just feel your core start to turn on. Especially when we're sitting, especially when we're hanging out in bed, perhaps, relaxing on the couch. These muscles tend to just soften a little bit too much. And then we'll release. Relax your feet, relax your arms. Bring your knees above your hips. And just adding a little bit more to this, reach your hands towards the ceiling. Good, and go ahead and lengthen your left leg long, hovering that heel above the floor. Reach your right arm alongside your ear. Good, and exhale, come all the way back to the center. Very nice, reach your right leg, your left arm. So it's just crawling upside down, and exhale back to the center. Beautiful, left leg, right arm, inhale. Exhale all the way back. Right leg, left arm, inhale. And exhale all the way back. Good. Right arm, left leg. One more time. Exhale, back to center. Good. Left leg, right, or left arm, right leg. And exhale, back to the center. Very nice. Hug your knees to your chest. Give yourself a little rock if that feels good. All right. And then one more for those of you who have really been missing seeing me in class. Lengthen your legs long. I'm going to give two options. We'll start with the first, and then as in the second round, if you want to go back to the first, stay there. Interlace your hands behind your head. Good. And then just gently curl the chest up a little bit, just so the shoulder blades start to lift above the floor. Good. Try to relax the neck so that the head is just supported in the hands. And lift your right heel just an inch above the floor. Let it go. Lift your left heel just an inch above the floor. And let it go. Good. Lift your right heel 2 inches above the floor. And let it go. Left leg lifts. Good. Let it go. One more each side. Right heel lifts. Let go. Left leg lifts. Good. Just letting go all the way down. Give yourself a moment. Pause. Breathe. Interlace hands behind your head. You're welcome to repeat that same version, or if you want to, go ahead and curl the chest up just a little. Relax the neck, relax the jaw, and lift one heel up at a time, and then either alternate or lift the other heel up to meet it. Good, so you're long. Imagine getting longer, so as the heels pull away from you, the head lengthens the opposite direction. So all of the sides, the waists are nice and long, the belly's drawing in. We're taking one more breath, just strengthening all of those ligamentous joints. And then exhale as we release. And relax your arms. Let your feet spread. Good. Go ahead. Draw your knees towards your chest or flip over onto your side. Good. Make your way onto hands and knees. And you can roll up your blanket. You can make it into a pad if you have sensitive knees. We'll be on our knees a little bit. Or you can just place it off to the side. All are fine options. Okay. So from hands and knees, take your big toes together to touch. Let the knees draw wide. And just move the hips back into child's pose. Good. Reach the arms long. Let the belly drop. So all of that work of drawing the belly in, let it be really soft here. Right? So you're letting your belly drape in between your legs, letting the thighs drape down. On your in-breath, make your way up onto hands and knees. And take a look at your hands. Just for those of you guys who aren't as familiar with yoga, take a look at your hands first. See them really spread out. So it's almost like you're a little frog, right? Index fingers point to the top of the mat. And then tuck the toes. Good. Lift the knees up and keep your knees bent, but reach your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Just kind of a short-legged down dog with bent knees. And instead of focusing on the heels moving down and back, keep the heels lifted, keep the knees bent, focus on the thighs moving up and back. So as though somebody was pulling your hips behind you at a diagonal. Imagine that feeling. And then we'll inhale and come forward to a plank pose. Good. So see that your wrists are right underneath your shoulders, if not a little bit forward. It usually feels nicer on the wrist, just have a little more space. Lock your hands forward just a tiny bit. Good. Okay. And then feel the backs of the heels start to spike towards the wall behind you. Good. Take another breath just like this. Hips nice and buoyant. Pressing down through the hands. Feel the upper back start to round and dome, so you're really supported. And then again, on your exhalation, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Nice. Go ahead, bend your knees. So don't adjust the down dog from here. Where you are in plank is where you need to be in downward facing dog, hands and knees wise, okay? So with the knees bent, again, feel the hips reach up and back. Good. And then start to lengthen back through the calves, down through the calves. Feet should be about hip distance apart. They can be a little bit wider, especially if you're having some low back stuff. And then don't worry about the heels touching the ground, right? You want your heels a little bit floated. You want them to have some space to move. We're just feeling the connection of the floor between the hands, the floor, the feet, and the floor. One last breath here. And go ahead and step your right foot between your hands. And if it's easier for you to do that by bringing your knees down first and stepping forward, that's a good way to do it. Nice, just pause here. And I want you to get low. So make sure that that right thigh is parallel to the ground. Make sure you can feel the feet really pressing down. You can come onto your fists if that's better for you rather than hands. Nice. So just feeling the downward movement of the pelvis. Then in response to that, go ahead and lengthen through the chest. Reach through the crown of the head. Get longer through this back heel. Nice. On your exhalation, as you're ready, downward facing dog. Now, at whatever point, you can swap out down dog for child's pose. It's fine. And we'll step the left foot forward between the hands. So just seeing that the left ankle is underneath the knee, and then pausing here. Let yourself get really low. Okay, so sometimes we work on buoyancy and lift, but for today, let yourself get low. And as the pelvis is heavy, as the hips are heavy, lengthen through the crown of the head. Nice, let the chest, let the heart move forward a little bit, and then lengthen through the back of that right heel. So as you do that, you'll feel the top of the right thigh start to lift up a little bit. And that's good. We like those supportive muscles, especially after sitting. That's just another breath right here. And exhale to downward facing dog. Nice, pausing. We'll bend the right knee. Keep the left leg nice and straight and reach down and back to that left heel. Nice. So bend the left knee and lengthen down and back to the right heel. And go ahead and one more time, bend both knees. Good. Feet hip distance apart, parallel if possible. And without losing the bend in the knees, just lift the top of the thighs up. Good. Reach down and back through the heels. And nice. Walk your feet forward to meet your hands. And then just take a nice wide-legged stance here. So your feet might even be as wide as your mat. Go ahead and hold opposite elbows. Nice. Let yourself hang and drape and put a little bend in the knee. So even if you're super flexible, bend your knees. Feel the sense of gravity drawing down through the rib cage, down through the head, down through the arms, giving more space to the low back, space for the belly, space for the hips. So we'll release our arms. Good. Walk the feet so that they're hip distance and parallel. Good. And then bring fingertips to the shins. Good. Inhale and lift just halfway. Nice. And then this halfway lift, imagine that this is like downward facing dog and send the tops of the thighs back. Right? So if you can, maintain the sense like you're trying to bend your knees a little bit, but send your thighs back. And feel the legs start to turn on as they work. Good. Send the chest forward a little bit more. Reach to the crown of the head. On your exhalation, release all the way down. Good. Ardha Uttanasana is what that's called, halfway lift. And then again, fingertips to the shins. On your in-breath, lift halfway. Good. Chest reaches forward, thighs reach back. So we're strengthening all of the muscles that support the backside of the spine. And exhale to release. Nice. Let go of the neck, let go of the breath. Bring your hands to your hips. Root down through the feet. Spike the heels to the ground. And inhale. Come all the way up to stand. Nice. Just letting your arms rest by your sides. Awesome. Just feeling the steadiness of the feet. The steadiness of the legs. So can you root down through the feet a little bit more? As you press down through the feet, just like when you were walking on your back, right? That exercise of moving one foot away at a time. Can you feel the arches start to lift a little bit? Nice. And as the arches lift, can you feel the outer hips hug in just a little bit? Good. On your in-breath, reach your arms, lift the chest, look up. And super slow, exhale as you fold down. Nice. Bring fingertips to shins. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale to fold. Good. Inhale, rise all the way up. Reach through the arms, lift through the chest. Exhale, arms relax by your sides. Good. Again, inhale as you reach the arms. Exhale as you fold. Bending the knees, if that feels good, that's great. Bring fingertips to shins. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale as you let go and fold. So let it feel comfortable. Inhale, rise all the way up. Nice. And exhale, relax arms by your sides. Good. So add a little bit of movement before we move into more sturdy standing posture. So inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, lift halfway to lengthen. Good. Then exhale, hands to the floor. Step all the way back to plank. Nice. I want you to pause in plank. We move through stuff pretty quickly usually. Nice. In plank, have a sense of gravity pressing down through the palms, pressing down through the feet. Then on your exhalation, lower all the way to the floor. Nice. Reach your arms back by your sides. Turn the palms down. Nice. Root down to the tops of the feet so the feet are untucked. And on your in-breath, just start to lift your hands, your arms, your chest, your head, and your neck, and keep looking down towards the floor. So if you start to have some neck stuff because the last couple of weeks, imagine this. As you're looking to the floor, try to give yourself a double chin, right? So the face is moving towards the back of the skull. And exhale, release all the way down. Okay, we're going to do that again. Inhale, lift just the arms, just the chest, just the shoulders, the head and the neck. Root down through the tops of the feet. Exhale as you let go. Nice. One way or another, make your way to hands and knees or plank. And then downward facing dog. Nice. From downward facing dog, inhale. Exhale as you step your right foot forward between your hands. Good. Bring the left knee down to the floor. And then if you need a little padding under your knee, you have your blanket nearby. Good. On your in-breath, press to the right foot, reach the arms up, lift the chest up. Nice. And exhale, bring hands to the floor. Good. Step forward to Uttanasana, forward fold. Bring fingertips to shins. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale to rise all the way up. Feel that pressing through the feet as you reach. Exhale, arms by your sides. Good. Inhale to rise up, lift your chest. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale as you lift halfway and lengthen, nice and slow. Exhale, step all the way back to plank. Nice. Again, pause in plank, so just slowing down. Imagine that you could root the thigh bones themselves, the femurs up against the ceiling even more without losing the position of your hip. Then keep the legs active. Exhale, lower all the way down. Bring your arms back by your sides. Inhale as you peel the chest, reach the arms up. And now start to pull the fingertips back. So we're starting to work on those muscles that support the shoulders, right? Again, give yourself a little bit of a double chin, pulling the face away from the floor. That'll stretch the neck. Exhale to lower. Good. One more time. Inhale as you peel the shoulders, the hands, the arms away. And exhale as you lower. Nice. One way or another, make your way into downward facing dog. Good. One in breath here. And then as you exhale, step your left foot forward. Bring the right knee down to the ground. As you press to the left foot, inhale, reach the arms up. Get nice and long. Exhale as you bring hands to the floor. Step forward to Uttanasana. Nice. Fingertips to shins. Inhale. Exhale to fold. Inhale as you rise all the way up. Lift the chest and lift up. Exhale, relax arms by your sides. Good. Bring your hands to your hips. Just take a big, wide step to the right. Okay? Or to whatever way works well for you. Doesn't really matter. Take a look at your feet. Let your feet be parallel, and they're about 3.5, 4 feet apart from each other. You can play with how wide that is, but a pretty wide stance. Okay, with hands on your hips, go ahead and draw your elbows together. Inhale. Exhale to fold forward. Good. Go ahead and relax your arms. Nice. And for a moment, just feel your feet. So as you're pressing down through the feet, again, feel the arches start to lift up. Feel the heels spike down. Feel the balls of the feet spike down. And now start to hug in the outer hips, outer ankles. You can shake your head. You can roll your shoulders a few times here, just feeling really supported by your legs. And in this support, right, because you're working the legs, you're really helping to circulate blood and lymph and all of the fluids that are necessary to move through the body. You're moving those through the legs right now. Nice. If your arms aren't on the floor, go ahead and bring them to the floor. Walk your wrists just right under your shoulders and lift halfway. And then take a look at your right foot. Turn your right foot just a little bit out, like 45 degrees. Bend your right knee, some or a lot, doesn't really matter. And then with your right elbow, if you can, or right hand, press your right knee back, just really gently. So you're starting to feel into the groin. You're starting to open up adductors, groin, all the stuff on the inner thigh. Release your right hand to the floor. Nice. Give yourself a moment in neutral. Re-parallel your right foot. And as you're ready, turn your left toes out just about 45 degrees. Bend your left knee. Walk your hands just a little bit over. And then left hand or forearm or elbow pressing that left knee back. And gently releasing your left arm. Come back through the center, parallel the feet. Good. Bring hands to your hips. Nice. Inhale, lift halfway, right? Lengthen the chest forward. Press into your feet. Pull in through the outer hips. Exhale, fold down. Keep your hands where they are if you can. Good. Now try to pull the tips of the elbows up towards the ceiling. Even just a little bit more, and feel that back body start to turn on. Good. Root through the feet. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Good. Then just turn right toes out to the side. Turn the left toes in just a little bit. Good. And then with hands on your hips, go ahead and keep your left hand there. Reach your right arm up. Nice. Press down through your right foot and really feel that rebound action of the right foot pressing and the right thigh starting to pull up and in. Good. As you exhale, lean forward, lean forward, lean forward, lean forward. Good. Right hand to the right shin. If you have a block, you can use a block, but otherwise just keep it on the shin. And then keeping your left arm where it is for now, try to rotate your left shoulder back towards the wall behind you. Nice. If you want to reach your left arm up, nice. Let your eyes be soft. Let your neck be soft. Then can you get longer between the crown of your head and your pelvis? Can you get longer between the crown of the head and the left foot? Nice. Can you send the top of the left thigh back just a little bit more? Awesome. Root through the feet. Inhale as you rise all the way up to stand. Very nice. Turn the right toes forward. Good. Left toes turn out. Right toes turn in. Hands back to your hips. We're just practicing the other side. Reach your left arm really long. Good. Imagine that whole side of the waist staying super long. Exhale. Reach forward, forward, forward. And then left hand to the shin. Or to a block if you have a block nearby. And with the foot rooting down, again, feel top of that left thigh moving back. Imagine like you're still trying to give a little bend to that left knee, but you're pulling the thigh back so much that it's making it really hard. With that left shoulder, gently reach it back so you feel the squeezing, this sort of rotational movement of the spine, the ribs. And then as you'd like, reach your right arm up. And soften your neck. Soften the jaw. And can you get longer between the crown of your head and your pelvis? The sides of the waist are super long. And can you get longer between crown of the head and the right foot? Give one more breath as you really reach top of the right thigh back. And then right hand to the hip. Press through the feet. Inhale to come all the way up. Good. Parallel the feet and then either step or hop or however you want to get there. Back to the front edge of your mat. Good. Just pausing here in Tadasana or Samastitihi, arms relaxing down by your sides. On your in-breath, reach the arms up, lift the chest and look up. Exhale to fold forward. Nice. Inhale as you lift halfway and lengthen. Then exhale, step all the way to plank. Good. Pause in plank. Very nice. Okay, so you are welcome to stay here. You're also welcome to bring the left knee to the floor for a moment. Okay? If you want to, just stay in plank and do the same thing. So we'll keep the left knee or the left foot where it is right now. Lift your right toes above the floor just an inch. Good. And then release right foot down. Nice. Again, lift your right leg up. And lower it down. And so really isolating the back of the glutes, the hamstrings, lift up one more time. Nice. And then this time, take your right leg over to the right. Tap it down to the floor. Good. Inhale, lift, and come back to center. So sorry, our dogs are barking. Release the right foot to the floor. Good. Back into plank pose if you have your left knee down. Very nice. Pause. And then right knee to the floor if that's the version you're doing. Otherwise, stay on your right foot. Go ahead and lift your right leg up. Feel the glute and the hamstring turn on. And then release down. Good. Again, lift up. So you're just making sure the low back doesn't sway. You're still supported through the center. And then exhale to lower. And last time, inhale as you lift the right leg. Take your leg out to the side. Tap the toe down. Come all the way up. Back to center. Plank. If you're not already in plank. Nice. Take an in breath. Exhale. Lower all the way to the floor. Nice. Relax your arms. Pause. Turn your head to the side. Give yourself just a moment. Okay. And go ahead. Bring your hands underneath your head so elbows are really wide. Right? Tuck your toes under. Nice. And then with this, go ahead and feel like you're pressing the heels back. So you feel the arches of feet start to lift. Press the heels back and you'll feel the knees start to lift away from the floor. It's good. Can you also lengthen the tail towards the heels here so you feel the low belly start to turn on? And keep all of that the same. We're not trying to be high. This isn't a real giant back bend. On your in-breath, go ahead and lift your face away from the floor again. So you can leave your hands where they are. Just lift your face and your chest away from the floor. Exhale to lower down. So could you feel that there's a nice stretch through all of that stuff in the center, the psoas, the front of the core. Again, tuck the toes under if they're not already tucked. Reach back through the heels. You're going to lift the kneecaps, lengthen the tail, and then inhale as you lift just the face away from the floor. So keep looking down. Keep the spinal extensors strong. And one more in-breath here. So you're starting to restore the natural curve of the low back. And then exhale as you lower down. Take a breath, take a pause. Tuck the toes under. Nice, reach back through the heels. Awesome, lengthen tail towards the knees, lift the kneecaps up. Good, and inhale as you lift face away from the floor. Good, so back of the neck is really long. And this time start to pull the arms a little bit back, right? Like you're trying to pull the blanket or pull the floor, pull your mat back. Good, feel the low back starting to work. Feel the upper back work. Very nice. Okay, you're going to stay here. Walk your arms over to the left. Nice. Can you now press back through that right heel a little bit more? Good. You can have your right elbow on the ground. You can reach the right arm long, really whatever works best for you. Just feel there's a really, really beautiful stretch in here. All of this stuff in the middle, the core of the core. And then inhale, come all the way back through center. Nice, you can relax down for a moment. We'll come back in on the other side. And again, tuck the toes under. Reach back through the heels. Good, lift the kneecaps, tail towards the heels. Good, and start to lift the chest. So find neutral first, and then walk your arms over to the right. Then you can stay on that right elbow, or you can reach the arm long. Reach back through the left heel. Sorry, left elbow, or reach the arm long. Reach back through the left heel. And then inhale as you come back through center. Undo everything, untuck the toes, relax the arms. Let yourself start again at 0. We'll walk the hands back just a little bit. Nice, just hands on your shoulders. Maybe it's a little bit back. We're not going to come super high. Tuck the toes under. I know this isn't usual. Reach back through the heels, lift the knees up. And then inhale, lift just the face away from the floor, lift the shoulders away from the floor. Draw the elbows back. Good, and then start to pull back through the hands. So these are not impressive looking yoga poses, right? These are so functional. They're strengthening, they're stretching, they release things that need to be released. And then exhale as you release down. Okay. When you are ready, one way or another, downward facing dog. Nice, you can pedal your feet, shake your head. Go ahead and step your right foot outside of your right hand. Nice. Turn the right toes out to the right 45 degrees. Right? So you are in a lizard pose or a wide-legged lunge. Nice. And take a moment and tuck the back toes under. Nice. Lift up that knee. And see if you can scoot the knee back just a tiny bit. Let the knee drop down. And then walk the hands forward. So that right knee moves out to the right. You can press it out gently if you want to. Try to lengthen the chest forward. You could be down on your forearms like Laura. You could stay up on your hands. Doesn't really matter. Just take a few breaths here. And then same kind of thing. We're going to walk the hands over to the left. So keep your legs in this position. Walk your hands to the left. Walk your right fingertips away from you. Nice. And if you can drop to the left forearm, that's a nice place to do this. It's a nice spot for that. Just imagine you're kind of unsticking now, not only the stuff through the hips and the low back, but now up through the side waist and the ribs and the shoulder. Nice. When you are ready to, come all the way back to the middle. Nice. Step it back to downward facing dog. For those of you who want to stay here, stay here. If you want child's pose, take child's pose. If you want more movement and you'd like a vinyasa of some sort, do a vinyasa. Great. Taking time. We're ingrained to be busy. We're ingrained to rush because it's how we've trained ourselves. We slow down. Step your left foot outside of your left hand. Right knee to the floor. And then take your left foot wide, right? Turn the toes out to the side about 45 degrees. Let the knee turn out. And then tuck the back toes under, lift your right knee up. Try to pull back through the heels, set the knee down. Good. And then either stay here for a few breaths or come to your forearms. It really just depends what feels best in your body. It's not, one is not prioritized over another today. And in the next breath or two, go ahead and walk your hands over to the right. And reach your left arm long. And with each breath, imagine that fan of your ribs gently pulling apart, so the really beautiful webbing of all the intercostal muscles, accepting breath, right? Unsticking, giving more space. You might be able to creep your fingertips just a little farther away. And inhale to come all the way back through center. Nice. One way or another, downward facing dog. And just taking a moment to pause here in down dog and child's pose, whatever place of stillness feels most easeful to you. So if you aren't already there, downward facing dog, let your feet be hip distance apart again. And this time we'll bend the right knee, turn the left toes out to the side just a little bit, just 45 degrees. Nice. And then again, let your weight swing into that outer left hip. So really press into that left hip. You might even drop the right knee a little bit more. Awesome. Come all the way back through center. Nice. Bend your left knee, turn your right toes out about 45 degrees. Lengthen, so between right fingertips and right shoulder. right shoulder and right hip get longer. Really press into that whole outer right hip region. Nice. Come back to the center. Beautiful. And then if you know that you have some knee stuff either now or always, and you'd prefer to be on your back, transition onto your back at this point. If you're totally fine in half pigeon, then bring your right knee forward behind the right wrist, right ankle behind the left wrist. And you can play with that angle quite a bit. So half pigeon for those of you familiar, otherwise on your back, right ankle to the left knee, hands behind the back of the left thigh. Beautiful demonstrating. Nice, and just one adjustment. I know you just got settled in, but again, tuck the back toes under. Lift that knee up just like we did in lizard. Try to pull that leg back a little bit, set the knee back down, and then tuck the toes. This is a great place if you feel like you need just a little bit of support. Grab that towel or that blanket and you can place it underneath the right hip. The body responds really well to support. If you're really comfortable here, stay here. If you're on your back, go ahead and lean your whole leg unit, like you're trying to press your right foot over to the left a little bit. So just lean your legs to the left a little. If you're here in half pigeon pose, you can lift up a little bit and walk your hands over to the right this time. Walk your left fingertips away. And on your in-breath, come all the way back through center. Downward facing dog. Again, pedal the feet. If you're on your back, you can just bring feet to the floor. You can lengthen the legs out in Shavasana. And left knee behind left wrist, left ankle behind the right. Nice. Making your way into half pigeon pose. Good. Let yourself kind of settle in and get comfortable first. And then once you feel a little give in the body, tuck the back toes, lift up the knee, scoot it back a tiny bit, and then untuck. And if you're on your back, left ankle's on the right knee. And if you're comfortable here, stay here for another few breaths or walk your hands over to the left, reaching the right fingertips away, just kind of crawling them away. If you're on your back, ankle to knee, then you can go ahead and just shift your knees a little bit to the right, and it sort of works into a slightly different part of the hip. All right, let your in-breath come back to the center. Down dog, if you're in half pigeon or if you're on your back, go ahead. Relax your legs. Okay. And everybody meet and seated. So from down dog, make your way to seated. If you're on your back, make your way to seated. It's a good place if you have your blanket or your towel nearby. Just double it up so that you have a little pad to sit on. Ooh, center yourself. Perfect, thank you. Great. All right. We'll go ahead and stretch the right leg out. Bend your left knee. So you have a nice wide open stance here. Good. Then walk your right hand down the top of the shin and just hold the shin. Right? Bring your left hand to your left hip. Good. And then just like we did in triangle pose, open up through the chest, send your left knee down. Good. If you want to, you can bring your left hand behind the head. Nice. You can bend the right elbow. And then imagine like somebody is pressing down on your left thigh, top of your left thigh gently. Go ahead and reach your left arm long if you want. You can leave the hand behind your head. You can leave the hand on your hip. Just keep trying to open the chest. You're really squeezing and rotating from the center. And we'll inhale and rise up through there. Good. Go ahead and relax your arms. Switch your legs. Right, so right foot in, left leg lengthens out. Left hand to the top of the shin. Right hand to the hip just to start. Okay, so press down into that right hip with your right hand. And then inhale as you grow long through the spine. Turn open through the chest and exhale as you tilt to the side, just like triangle pose. Nice. And then if that feels good, stay there. Otherwise, right hand behind the head. You're still trying to move the chest open. So like somebody is rotating the ribs for you. Then if you want to, lengthen your right arm or stay wherever you are that feels good to you. Just opening through the side body. So let your in-breath bring you all the way back to center. Relax your arms. Go ahead and cross your legs. So for those of you who have a lot of mobility in this way, you can bring ankle to knee in Agni Stambhasana, but just make sure that your top foot is flexed. Actually, both feet should really be flexed, right? And ankle should really be on top of the knee. Otherwise, just take Sukhasana, right? So ankles under the knee as much as possible, or feet under the knee as much as possible, and then shins parallel to the long edge of your mat or the top edge of your mat, whichever way you're facing. Good. We'll bring the right hand behind. Reach the left hand to that right knee. Good. Inhale as you lift up to the crown. Exhale as you turn and twist. Good. So you don't need to push super hard in a twist, right? Let yourself melt into it. We'll have time here. And turn the head back. If you've been having some neck stuff, some stickiness, you might want to gently move forward and back. Otherwise, for today, go ahead and look forward over that left shoulder or just past that left shoulder. one more exhalation here. Get one last little ring through the ribs. And then on your in-breath, come all the way back through center. Nice. Pause. Bring fingertips to the floor. Just in front of you or to the side is fine. And inhale. And then exhale as you fold forward. Keep the chest long. Reach the arms long. And then allow yourself to round in. So as the spine rounds, the neck rounds, the head rounds. And on your in-breath, go ahead and come all the way up, supporting yourself with your hand. Switch the crossing of your legs so your non-habitual leg is in front. Or the opposite one. And then right hand to the left knee, left fingertips behind. Just a really simple, easy twist. Inhale to lift tall. And then as you exhale, turn and rotate. So imagine that you're creating more space between the left hip and the right shoulder. More space between the front of the right hip and the left shoulder. And you might move your neck a little bit if you've been having some neck issues from sitting more or just from stress or whatever. Or for today, go ahead and just reach it forward so that you have a soft gaze over the top of that shoulder, front shoulder. One last in-breath here. Exhale, ring just a little bit more. And then inhale to unwind. Good. Walk the fingertips forward or by the sides of the hips. And as you exhale, lengthen forward so that the hinge of the hip is deepening. And then when you're ready to, allow the spine to round, allow the head to drop. Some of you might have enough range here to just let your head rest against the floor. Others might like to stack the hands. Others might just be really high up in space, and that's great too. And on your in-breath, go ahead and rise all the way up. Nice. Unwind the legs, make your way onto your back. Keep your feet on the floor, knees bent. Just a couple light movements just to make sure we've kind of worked all the rust off. Take your feet a little bit wider than hip distance, maybe mat distance apart. That might be too much, somewhere in between. Then go ahead and drop your right knee to the right, your left knee to the right. Yeah, so you're just kind of like a pinwheel, doesn't matter. Left or right, both fine. And then bring your knees back to the center. Go ahead and go the other way. And then as quickly or as slowly as you want, just that motion, side to side. Next time you're through the center, stay there. Walk your feet back into hip distance. Then bring your hands just to the tops of your thighs. So heels of the hands are almost in the hip crease. Take an in-breath here. Good. Press the tops of your thighs away with your hands. And then exhale fully. Press even more. You can stay here for another breath or two. Relax the arms. When you're ready, go ahead and lengthen your legs. So allowing yourself to be in Shavasana. So if you haven't already been in Shavasana, go ahead and come to Shavasana now. And we'll spend a few moments here. If you'd like to place a blanket on your thighs or on your chest or put your sweatshirt on, that's great. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and exhale. And one more time, a deep breath in. Exhale as you release. if you'd like to stay here longer, please feel free to hang out as long as you want. Otherwise, you might start to invite some deeper breaths. Invite some small movements like licking your lips or swallowing, maybe wiggling fingers and toes. And as you're ready to transition, go ahead and bend your knees. Slowly transition to one side. And make your way all the way up to seated. So far away. And just a short reading from the author Pico Iyer. In an age of constant acceleration, nothing can be more exhilarating than going slow. In an age of constant distraction, nothing is so luxurious as paying attention. In an age of constant movement, nothing is so urgent as sitting still. Join our palms. Bow our chins. Namaste, everybody. Thank you for being here. Great to see all of you. Yeah, you know how to be in touch, and so we'll leave it there. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Laura, our beautiful model.
Good to see you guys.
Okay, we'll catch up soon.
You have a second to stick around, Courtney?
You want me to stick around?
Just for a second, can I say hi to you guys?
Yeah, of course. I got the time.
Huh?
We've got the time.
Stick around.
Yeah, we've got the time.
Yeah.
You don't have tea.
We don't have tea, unfortunately, but
I've never, I don't know, have you guys done this online previously and Laura just happened to mention it this time? Is that what happened?
no. This is
This
your
is
first.
that's what you said at the beginning. This was your first one.
This is the first one.
No, it's fantastic. I have to tell you, I envy your students back home tremendously, though. You're a fabulous teacher.
Oh.
Yeah, your language is really beautiful, like the luxuriate and the sitting of the ribs and things like that. It's really, really nice to listen to. And it's also,
Lindsay. I actually paid Lindsay before we started doing this. I actually paid her.
Lindsay's my
yeah.
so it's like insider.
It's an insider.
No, it's such a nice change too. There's just so much power yoga out there, and I like power yoga. It's a great workout, whatever. But people, you see so many people who obviously are not that familiar with the real poses and haven't ever taken a class and I feel like there's since I started doing this, I don't know, 20 years ago or whatever, I feel like there's less and less classes easy to find that are more Iyengar or like Hatha based or something like that. And it's such a nice treat. So thank you so much. That was great.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Glad you were able to be here.
Yeah, I look forward to all of the variety that I suspect that you have in your repertoire.
Oh, thanks, Lindsay.
Guys, we'll see you next time.
Bye, Lindsay.
Bye.
Yeah, guys. Tea or water. Reach out if you guys need anything. And it is such a joy to see you. I'm so happy to see your faces. It's just great. It's really wonderful. It's kind of like being at the studio. Hold on, let me unmute everybody. There we go.
Oh. You want to come say hi to Miss Courtney?
Are you going to do some more classes?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd really like to hear from, I mean, like I said, you know, this is the closest thing that I've been sharing anything of what I'm actually learning. So I'd love to hear anything that you guys need, like however you're feeling. Suggestions for days that work best for people if we're going to keep doing it. I'm probably not going to be somebody who offers like classes every day. It's just not how I really want to spend my time right now. But I do love seeing you guys, and I love being able to share in this with you. So really nice to be a part of a community. You know, we've been just our community of two for a long time. So it's nice to see everybody again. So you all have my contact information. You know how to reach out. And I'll just let you know. We'll talk about it. And if we hear anything from you guys over the next couple of days, then we'll just go from there. So
Thank you so much for doing this. Courtney, great to see you guys and to see the rest of the community.
great to see you. Be well, stay well.
Bye.
Thank
you, Courtney.
I love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep, even Krista.